Hi, I'm Andrew Spieler,
And I'm Mary Hope Rennie.
and you're watching or listening to Behind the Sign, real stories from real estate. So welcome back to another episode of Behind the Sign. As you'll notice, there's a special co-host here with me today, Miss Cheryl Grant from the Londonderry office here at KW Metro. How you doing, Cheryl?
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you for subbing in and taking over from Mary Hope for an episode here.
Absolutely. I'm honored to be here.
Great. And our special guest, Mr. Chris Marr from
Yes.
Move You.
Yes,
Welcome.
thank you.
How's it going?
Wonderful.
Good. It's cold out, isn't it?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is, but I like the cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Chris walked into the studio and he shook my hand and his hand was like an ice block. And I was like, oh, so it's still 3 degrees outside. So at the time of filming right now, it's the end of January and we're in a cold snap here.
Yes.
It's 75 degrees in the studio and it's 3 degrees outside. So a little different.
A little chilly.
Yeah.
A little chilly. We'll
Um,
pass.
so what's not chilly? Your business, right?
Right.
Move You. Can you tell us a little bit about what Move You is? Obviously, you're a moving company, but what kind of makes you different? Why'd you get into it? Your goals for the company?
Yeah. So funny enough, Move You started out as Move University. I had a company in Phoenix for 3 years. And what I wanted to do with this was create, for a lot of people in the moving industry, they maybe never went to college, right? A lot of people that work in the industry. So I wanted to create a place. Well, first, I was working in the industry for a long time. And I almost felt like an older brother to a lot of these people, even if they were older than me, just with mindset and just like health wise, educational. So when I started my own company, I'm like, I wanted to kind of create this place where people, no one wants to be a mover forever. So I called it Move University to bring these kids in and like go on with your life. Like, what do you want to do and be better? And then it just, people only thought I moved universities. So then I changed it to Move You.
Yeah.
And it just kind of goes hand in hand with U-Haul, Move You.
Yeah.
A lot of things are like iPhone. So I liked the Move You. So anyway, that was in Phoenix. We started Move You, New Hampshire in 2023. And so it hasn't even been 2 years and we're killing it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And where are you based in New Hampshire?
Right now, most of our stuff is out of Bedford.
Bedford.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And how many trucks, movers? What's sort of the size of the company?
Last summer, we had 10 plus movers. During the winter, it's a little slower. So right now we have 5 or 6 and 3 trucks.
Wow.
Yeah.
And was there like for an entry point in the moving business, where do you get your first jobs from? Like, where do you find your leads and how does that work?
So I had the luxury of growing up in New Hampshire. When I moved back here from Phoenix, everyone was asking me, are you doing the moving thing? Are you moving? Are you moving? So I already had a few friends and family members that were asking me. And then once I started it, just Facebook, I think that's huge.
Yeah.
Friends and family just shouting it out.
Yeah.
Hey, if you guys need a mover, and then you start working with a realtor, and then it just spreads organically.
Yeah.
We haven't advertised at all. This spring will be the first time advertising outside of Facebook
Mm-hmm.
and just having a Google page.
Yeah.
I think once you start getting reviews and that starts going, then you show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what would you say? I mean, do you still incorporate some of the kind of university training aspect to the
Yes.
company? Is that still kind of like a core thing that you promote?
I do. I think it's very important for someone, if you're going to have a business and you have employees, employee retention is huge. The moving industry is a revolving door. A lot of people spend a lot of money on just hiring people because they can't keep people and no one wants to be a mover forever. I mentioned that already. So within our organization, I want to keep guys. So it's how we pay them, how we train them. I'm always on them about their health. It's a very physical job, so I need to make sure that they can
Yeah.
stay with it.
Yeah. Right. Now, circling back a little bit about the referrals and connections. So obviously the two of you have worked together quite a bit.
Yes.
So how did you guys get connected? What was the connective tissue there?
We were doing a move for someone that,
So one of my clients in Londonderry, he was doing the move. I went over to check on the progress of the actual move. And the gentlemen that were working for Move You were amazingly personable, accommodating. They even carried stuff out to my car because I was helping remove some of the extra stuff that wasn't needed. And they were just, they went above and beyond for sure. So I actually talked to one of them then, put me in touch with Chris. And from there, my husband and I, we met with Chris because we're always looking for good partners in the real estate business to refer out. And we had a great first meeting. And then from there, I had a transaction recently, the beginning of January, that last minute, I was on the buy side. The seller's agent said we can't close on time. Their seller's mover has canceled on them unexpectedly, and I went, "Oh, don't worry, I have somebody for you." So I put them in touch with Chris immediately and saved the day.
Yep.
Saved the day.
So that's kind of a unique thing, right? Where you were in a situation where a closing was going to be impacted because somebody else on the other side didn't necessarily have a plan B or maybe a good enough relationship with the mover to help the seller, right? And you were able to swoop in and say, "I've got someone,
Yep.
my trusted go-to
Yep.
partner."
It's the first one I thought of, and I texted him right away. I didn't even call. I just texted him, and he responded right away.
Yeah.
That's how I operate. So I love that type of communication. You can tell you're a hard worker and you enjoy what you do.
Yeah. We don't like to leave messages unread.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to your point about our guys, I could teach anyone how to move furniture, but we go through a very long hiring process to make sure that people have this type of personality because you are dealing with people's things, and moving is one of the most stressful things you can go through. So we're, as part of the educational piece, is teaching them how to be, customer service. People say customer service, treat you like family, but do they,
Right.
So we really want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in a lot of cases, I think these people that you're moving, their personal property is some of the most valuable stuff that they have.
Right.
And it means a lot to them. There's heirlooms and things like that,
Well, and also, the circumstances, right? I mean, in a perfect ideal scenario, you're selling a home at the time you want to sell it and you get at ask or above and everything's perfect and you're upgrading, right? But that's not often the case, right? A lot of times it's people who have to move because of, divorce, a death in the family, a
Right.
change in job, right? Can't afford it, foreclosure. So, I on the listing side, like when I'm coming in working with an agent as a vendor who is there to capture the house and present it for through listing media and photos, I'm always very aware when I walk in the door that I don't know what the relationship is between my client, the agent, and the homeowner.
Yeah.
And I'm going to assume that like whatever they're going through is probably something tough, even if they don't show it, right? And just treat them with, "Well, I'm going to meet you where you're at," because I think people often look at real estate and they're like, "Oh, it's a real estate agent. They just kind of do everything." And it's not just the agent, it's a whole network and it's a whole team of people that have to come together because it takes a village to buy and sell and get people, relocated and, from lenders to title. I mean, it just goes on and on and on.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right
But
about
but
that.
I think that there are a couple of key ones, agent being sort of the point person on it, who are there to wrangle and handle the emotional state of the homeowners, right?
You only knew.
Yeah, exactly, right? You got to be part psychologist. You got to be
you gotta
part,
be a lot part.
right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
a lot of it, yeah.
And to a degree, you want to be working with people who are an extension of how you treat other people, right? Which
Absolutely.
I think at the end of the day, Chris, you're spot on, right? Anybody can lift something heavy and move it in and out of the door. It takes a certain kind of individual to do it with sort of the kind of care and respect that people deserve.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And it's not like taking your time and going super slow. You want to be fast and efficient because this is people's money. So you want to be respectful of their time. They want to still move into their new house and have dinner. They don't want to be there till 9 at night. Sometimes it happens, but I think the personal touch is a big part of why we are Move You.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What are some things between some of the stories you've had of clients, using your services and kind of tag teaming? Like, how have the two of you sort of, pregame before you come in the move? Like, what do you say, Cheryl, as an agent, to kind of prep Chris and his team before coming into the home to kind of give them, the lowdown?
Well, I think, as an agent, we need to be prepping our clients as to what the expectations are as well as what would work best for his team.
Mhm.
Because like you said, it's people's money, it's people's time, but we want to make sure that when they get there, they're ready to go, right? So for example, one of my clients wasn't completely prepared. And so at the last minute, I was there and that one of your guys handed her a box and she just started throwing stuff in the box from the closet. I was like,
Yeah.
oh boy, this could have, yeah. So I think I learned that I need to verbally prepare my clients a little bit better. And I think that goes with communication amongst the two of us, knowing what his guys need
Yeah.
in order to be successful, and then relaying that to my clients specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, being prepared is a huge, from the first point of contact when we speak with a customer, we're always, we have a move guide when that's immediately upon once they receive the estimate, it's right in there.
Yeah.
Here's a smooth move guide. Please follow these steps to ensure a smooth move. That's when we're in contact with them. It's even more important because the realtor's in contact before we are,
Yeah.
almost always, right? They call you before they even think about selling their house. Then they call us, unfortunately, sometimes last minute. So preparation is
And
huge.
that's a good point though too that Chris made, is that we need to be able to say to them, you know, a month before your closing date, you need to be reaching out to move you
Yeah.
and scheduling that, if not sooner, if you have that much time. Don't wait to the last minute, because
Yeah.
things get booked up and situations, you know,
Yeah.
you don't want to be stuck without a good mover, because
Yeah,
not fun.
that's a good little pocket of interesting topic, right? Because I mean, I've experienced this. You'll go and show properties on Saturday and Sunday, and Sunday night your client's going, all right, I want to put an offer in on house number 2, right? And part of your strategy is, okay, we're gonna put in this offer, but there's gonna be a contingency on the sale of home in there in order to afford this home, because maybe it's above their price point or whatever, right? And so now suddenly you and the client are on a escalated timeline, especially if offer is accepted, and you didn't know that this week was going to be the week that they were going to submit an offer, because you've been with this client for maybe 6 months now and you've been going and doing this every other weekend, right? So all of a sudden, boom. So when you don't have the time, right, to actually like properly prep and like schedule out in advance and everything because of just the variable nature of real estate, how do you go about that, right? Like, and same thing, with you, Chris, like how do you kind of react in those moments where suddenly time is of the essence? You've been booked 2 weeks out for the last 2 months, and now suddenly it's like this is it. How do we make it work, right? How does that kind of go down?
I think having a good relationship with your partners is the key to a lot of my success anyways. And I'm sure with Chris will probably say the same thing, but like I said, I pride myself in vetting all of our vendors before we actually need them.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that that's been part of my success so far. And I think, I'm curious to see what you have to say, but when I'm in a pinch, they're more apt to help me, or give me a suggestion as to where I can look for help, because of the fact that we have this relationship already going.
Yeah. If it's last minute, it does get kind of tough because I have so many guys and so much time. I do not hire day labor, which I think some companies do, and they can probably take care of those last minute moves if they're already booked. I myself personally don't want anyone out there on the job that hasn't gone through our training process. So if it is last minute, sometimes it's like we have a few people that we could refer them out to if that is the case. We've been blessed to be able to take on almost every single person. So it's those last minute calls do come in. But if it's a few weeks in advance, we can try to make it work.
Good.
Yeah. Well, and that's an interesting point too, right? Is you don't want to just take on the job to take on the job and then have the job not be to the level of quality and service that you provide, because at the end of the day, that's your brand.
Right.
Right. And it's interesting because I think especially, you know, a lot of what we talk about on the show is what it's really like being an agent and being in real estate, and realizing that you kind of have to have a depth chart, you know, of go-tos,
Oh,
because
absolutely.
it's the same thing, right?
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
sure, you're going to call Chris as soon as you get word, but if Chris is booked, who do you roll to? Right?
Yeah.
Who's plan B?
Well,
Because,
and I kind of refer back to him because I trust him.
right. Yeah.
I built some relationship with him. And if he says, I can't do it, Cheryl, I really can't do it. Okay, Chris, who do you suggest?
Right.
As much as I really don't
Yeah.
want to have to go to that level, but, you know, you're building trust amongst your industry as well. And that's with any industry
Yep.
that we're working with, any type of, you know, contractor, painter, plumber, you name it. We've got a little toolbox of people we really trust. And then if they can't help us out, who do they trust?
Right.
It's important.
I think it's also good to not look at everyone out there as competition, but as people that can
Correct.
help each other.
Yes.
Because I would love to build a relationship with another moving company, because they could be booked and can't take on a job, and
Yeah.
we could follow through,
Yeah.
or they might offer something that we don't. So I think it's important to do that as far as if it gets super busy. And then also, I'm cool with being someone's number two in case that number one is too busy.
Yeah.
Or just, you never know if they drop the ball unexpectedly, or someone's movers don't show up, which is insane. I can't believe that. But
If I told they wanted a vacation
no,
at
that's
the last
okay.
minute.
Yeah, so I think there's no ego
Right.
for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm cool with being someone's number two.
Mhm.
I just want to, if we have the job, we're going to perform the best we can.
Yeah.
And I want to make friends out here. I don't want any competition. And if they,
Mhm.
I'm
I
here to,
love
yeah.
that you said that. I love that you said that. I think that is so key and so important in this business. No matter what you do, I think making friends and gaining respect from your fellow peers
Yeah.
is so important
Yeah.
in any industry that you do. But yeah, especially in real estate,
Yeah.
absolutely in real
Yeah.
estate.
Well, I mean, you know, out in LA in the film industry, my jobs came through referrals and just through working with and for different people in a moment's notice, filling in for others when they were sick or had to go, death in the family, you know, whatever it is, right? It's just like, it's such a collaborative community,
Yeah.
because it's a full team effort when you're on set. You know, I mean, it's hundreds of people. So everybody's got to be able to work and play nice together and get along. And when you do that, it's a high tide raises all ships mentality. And I think in real estate, it's really no different, right? You know, if you're an agent, you want to make sure that you're treating not just every vendor you work with respect and dignity, but also the other agents, because you're all transacting on either side of all kinds of different things over the years. And, you know, it's a small world. It's a smaller community. And it's
Yeah.
an even smaller, you know, industry of real estate in the area. And I think having co-competitors is better than having competitors.
Yeah.
Right. Because then it's like everybody can work effectively to help honestly serve the community, right? Which is what we're all here to do anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so
Well, and we all want to grow. We want to grow ourselves. We want to grow our businesses, and we want to be successful. And we can't be successful on our own. We have to take advantage of those other great individuals out there that are like-minded and want to succeed. So I think it's a win-win for everybody.
yeah. I have a question for you, Chris.
Yes.
Most difficult move you've had to do in New Hampshire thus far?
Please don't say one of mine
I don't know if there's
or a really funny story.
we have a few gross ones.
Okay.
Yep. Let me hear it.
Or what's the most bizarre thing you had to move?
Sometimes we come across a road that the truck doesn't fit on. If it's some dirt road, that could be a little difficult.
Yeah.
We do have different size trucks.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to look at that. I don't think we've had like a crazy, I think I had crazier ones in Phoenix, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Okay. Well, how about this? What about a move or a job that was difficult because of sort of a lack of the communication, everything we've been talking about with an agent? Like what was a situation where the work just got jammed up because you just weren't on the right page with each other about XYZ?
That happens frequently, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think we can try to prepare the client as much as we can check in with them as much as we can. And upon move day, if they haven't done what we suggested, then it could take a lot longer.
Mm.
And if they don't prepare properly, then our guys get there. They're calling me, hey, they didn't do what this stuff isn't. Blah, blah.
Right.
It's like, all right, well, I'm never going to turn away from a job unless it's just, I never have. I've never gone to someone's house after and said, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
Even if it's pretty gross.
Yeah.
I say, hey, you know what? We're here. I'm not going to be that guy that leaves them stranded. Let's just take care of this.
Mm-hmm.
And they happen once a month, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when you're moving somebody, how do you also, kind of inside workings of coordinating, like, all right, so it's somebody in New Hampshire and they're moving to, I don't know, North Carolina or
Yeah.
something. I mean, do you go down that far? Do you sort of cut off on a perimeter? Like, how does it work for you?
I won't do North Carolina.
Okay, well, good to know.
We try to stay in New England.
Mm-hmm.
And more specifically, I've been saying recently from Boston to the Lakes region.
Mm.
Okay.
I want to be the hometown Titan.
Yeah.
And when you spread, cast your net
Mm.
too wide or whatever that saying is,
Yeah.
I just want to start home,
Mm-hmm.
take care of the people at home. And we've gone to Maine, we've gone to Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island. I'll go to the border of New York because it's like
Right there. Yeah.
4 hours,
Yeah.
but we try to stay within. I don't want to go further than 4 hours
Yeah.
right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's plenty of business here.
Yeah.
So you don't really need to.
Well,
Yeah.
especially with real estate. I mean, I don't remember the specific numbers, but I know, in talking to Bill and Mark a few months ago, they were talking about like just the amount of volume of real estate that occurs in the state of New Hampshire
Absolutely.
compared to
There's
other states is unbelievable.
plenty of business, and for every agent and vendor out there to have their fair share. Yeah, there's plenty out there.
Yeah.
I feel like I see lists all the time, New Hampshire, Massachusetts being the place that people want to move to.
Yeah. The hot markets.
Like I think Massachusetts was the #1 place to live in America. I just saw a list
Mhm.
not that long ago. so-
Yeah, the suburbs from Boston north. Yeah, they were. So for 2025, and I one of the top real estate sites predicted that Boston north into New Hampshire was going to be one of the best places to live / move to / real estate hotbed for 2025.
I believe it.
So
Yeah.
we're ready.
I know.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Ready to move you.
Yes. Yeah, we are.
I make the move you joke.
Move you to
That-
New Hampshire.
Like Tyler's got to be getting sick of it because I always make the move you joke with him
Yeah.
at BNI because it's just, I don't know, it's just such a good name.
Yeah, I've thought of little jingles. I used to make music when I was younger, and I was like, if I ever did a commercial, it's gonna be like, we came to pack it, stack it, and move you. Like that was.
Yeah.
I always think of fun little things to say.
You should
Yeah.
go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for
We'll
it.
record it in this room.
Seriously,
Yeah.
yeah. You want to record a jingle, we'll do it. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. A parting question for you. And I know you started in Arizona. What was it that got you into moving in the first place?
I started moving when I graduated college. I've always liked doing manual labor.
Mm-hmm.
I have a degree in health and fitness, so I just naturally like to move.
Mm-hmm.
And I started working for a moving company in Boston, worked for one here. And then, to be completely honest and frank, my daughter was coming into the world and I didn't have enough personal training clients. So I started working for a moving company when I was in Phoenix.
Mm.
And it was certain things just come, if like they say not to do what you love, but do what you're good at.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just really good at it.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question, and to go along with that is, being a mover is one thing, but running your own business is a totally
Yeah.
other thing. And it seems like you've got a really good handle on the direction you see your business going and how you train your employees, etc. I mean, where did that come from? I mean, is that just natural to you? Did you come from a family of business entrepreneurs, or
No.
you know how to treat people right, and you know what how a good business should run?
Yeah. So I'll just give a brief breakdown. I can kind of relate it to, I almost went to school for audio production. I like being a producer.
Mm.
So if we start from that, I love just production, and I'm very good at pulling people together to accomplish something.
Yeah.
And I think being that, when I used to do group training, group physical fitness, I was very good at conducting the class. Everyone's working together on their own thing, but it was almost like a different,
Circuit training?
circuit
Yes.
training. So I think that has a little bit to do with it. I think being a part of those moving companies and just, I very quickly became the crew lead. And so when you have a group of people and you're all there to move the house, I just step into that role naturally as a leader, but I also like to learn as a student.
Well,
So
that's best form of a leader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So being a student and a teacher / coach, and I think owning my own company just came out of working for this other company, seeing cracks. I think a lot of entrepreneurs might start that way. They work for someone and they realize, oh man, I see a lot of things that I can do better. When you get out there on your own, it's very hard. And you start to realize like, wow, this isn't that easy. And so a lot of people give up. I think just personal development and my mindset, I don't stop. I'm Mr. KIM, keep it moving.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that very much. Yeah.
So I think it's just naturally, I like to be like that.
Well, I think that's a good answer and a good note to wrap things up on.
Absolutely.
Thank you both for coming on the show and sharing your relationship and your experience, and just how important it is to have these trusted partnerships. In order for any business to be successful depends upon the success of other businesses that they surround themselves with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where Move You goes next. And you want to come in here and record a jingle? You let me know.
Yeah.
I'll be the dancer in the background.
Yeah, perfect.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Let's get that jingle on Rock 101. Greg in the Morning Buzz. Let's go.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. Awesome. Well, thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Behind the Sign, Real Stories from Real Estate.
We hope you enjoyed today's conversation and gained a little insight into the world behind those for sale signs.
Today's episode was brought to you by Keller Williams Realty Metropolitan, proudly serving New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, and Massachusetts. A special thank you to our agents, leadership, and partners at KW Metro for their continued support.
And thanks to you, our amazing listeners and viewers. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss an episode.
Leave us a review or comment. We love hearing your feedback, and it helps more people discover the show.
And if you have a real estate story you'd like to share or a question you want answered on a future episode, reach out to us at metro.kw.com or find us on Instagram, handle @KWMetroNH.
Until next time, we'll see you
Behind the Sign.